Hello, everyone, and welcome to May. Yeah, it's now time to continue the Phoenix Wright the Ace Attorney bi-monthly marathon. Which this game I considered one of my personal favorites in the Fey trilogy. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, trademark, Trials and Tribulations. Released in 2004 for the Game Boy Advance, and 3 years later for the Nintendo DS in 2007. All right, so without further ado, let's begin with a trip to the past. Here we go. With episode 1, Turnabout Memories. Yeah, I had the volume like way too low on my part. All right, here we go. How did I get into this mess? Why? Why did I do that? That girl. You shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, it's none of your business. I'm telling you for your sake. If you continue to see her, it's going to be bad news. You're lying. Just listen to me. There's something you need to know about that girl. Stop it! Don't talk about her like that. It wasn't me. I didn't... I didn't do it. So yeah, as I said, we're traveling to the past, 5 years earlier. This is Mia's second trial. So yeah, this case takes place 5 years before the events of the first game. So we are now in control of Mia Fey for this whole case right now. And is it me, or is this the third time that the beginning of each, like, for each of the games, like for the beginning of the first case, it always starts with you know, I think this is the third time this has happened. I hope Phoenix I'm sorry, Apollo Justice and further games don't start out like that, because this is getting ridiculous in my opinion. Alright, so we are now in the lobby, and basically 5 years earlier, nothing's changed. Seriously, nothing has changed. Alright, here we go. Phew, it's finally time. Kinda nervous. Oh, Mr. Grossberg, good morning. Mia, please calm yourself. You're going to get yourself arrested for suspicious behavior, you know. What are you talking about? I am relaxed, Mr. Grossberg. Look at me. I'm relaxed. Let go of my lapples. You obviously got the temperament to be a lawyer. I'm so sorry. It's just that I'm so nervous today. Oh, that's right. This is your first time in the big leagues, isn't it? Well, never you fear, my dear. Ha, he rhymed. I, Marvin Grossberg, am at your service. Actually, this is my second time in court. Still, you surprised me, what with your earnest request last night. Let me handle this case, you suddenly said, and quite forcefully too. I just found out yesterday about the case, I mean. What? And you've already learned all the relevant facts? Well, about that. You see, I mean, of course I have. I think. Oh dear. In any case, don't let our clients see you so nervous. You see the poor young man in the pink sweater over there? That's our client. Good morning there, everybody. Good morning. Try to keep smiling, Mia. I want to say, I'll give it all I've got. Yep, it'll be fine. No problem. Let's shoot. Let's shoot. If only my, in actuality, I was kind of hoping that, I would use my allergies as an advantage, you know, for these types of things, but, oh well. Here's a tidbit here. For the American version, notice, the heart, well, the letter in, the middle of Phoenix's, sweater. In the localized version, it's a P, which stands for Phoenix. However, in the Japanese version, Saiban 3, the letters spell out Ryo, which is his actual name, Ryoichi Naruhodo. That's his Japanese name. For the localized version, it was changed to Phoenix Wright. So, yeah. Oh, what's wrong? Do you have a cold or something, Mr. Rai? Actually, it's Wright. You know, like the Flying Brothers. People screw it up all the time. And yes, I have a cold. That's what this mask's for. My doc says, this way I won't give it to anyone else. Be kind to others, he says. Right, Mr. Wright, you have nothing to fear in court today. If you are truly innocent, I promise, I will save you. Please, let go of my shirt. Yeah, she's actually, holding, like, she's grabbing Phoenix by the sweater. That's right. He's the one on trial. Not you. He's the one who should be nervous. You need to stay strong for your client, Mia. My name is Mia Fey. I'm still pretty new at this lawyer thing. The first time I appeared in court was a year ago. Yeah, I'm trying to, like, to speak in her, in Mia's younger tone as best as I can, so I apologize if I butcher it. So, bear with me. But the trial traumatized me so badly, I thought I'd never set foot in another courtroom. It's been 1 year since then, and well, here I am again. But this time I'll win. For my client, and for myself. Alright, here we go. We are now in the courtroom. And guess who our prosecutor for this trial is? Court is now in session for the trial of Phoenix Wright. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense today is Miss Mia Fey, was it? Yes, Your Honor. Is there a problem? I was under the impression that Marvin Grossberg was to be leading the defense. Yes, well, you see, Mr. Grossberg had a bit of an emergency. Emergency? But isn't that him standing there right next to you? Yes, well, you're just a rookie. Are you sure you can really handle this? Truth be told, this is the first time this judge is meeting Mia for the first time. The judge will for Mia's first trial later on. Spoiler warning: it's actually his younger brother. So yeah, this is actually the first time this judge here, the older brother, is meeting Mia for the first time. Don't let him scare you, Mia. Give him your toughest look. Of course, Your Honor. I think... Well, Mr. Payne, your opening statement, please. Well. I can't believe a veteran like me has to spend his time babysitting a new defense lawyer. Don't worry, little girl. It will all be over soon. What was that all about? Was he trying to trash talk me? Yeah, I'm guessing it is. Now then, I'd like to proceed with a summary of events on the day in question. The incident occurred on the campus of Ivy University. The murder victim was a student named Doug Swallow. He was a fourth-year student at studying pharmacology. That's medicine. It sounds like he was a very bright young man. Yes, well, next we have a photo taken at the scene of the crime. Students discovered the scene shortly after the murder. They found the victim's body. And the defendant, who had obviously bungled his getaway, then they called the police. That certainly makes the defendant look very suspicious indeed. Very well. The court accepts this photo into the record as evidence. Alright, so we have our second piece of evidence. The crime photo. Before we continue on, let's take a look at the first piece of evidence we have here. Alright, so the victim's name is Doug Swallow, and here's his autopsy report. Date and time of death, April 9th at 3 p.m. Cause of death was a fatal electric shock. And here we see the... hold on, let me switch here. There we go. Here's the photo of the crime scene. And look at all this evidence we're gonna use. You know how the saying goes, a picture's worth 1,000 words. More if possible, but we'll get to that later. Alright, let's continue on. Oops. By the way, I can't quite tell the cause of death from this photo. Your reputation for Saga City is well earned, Your Honor. What a suck-up. The truth is that this victim died a rather unusual death. An unusual death? What do you mean, Mr. Payne? Well, perhaps the defense would like to take this question. Huh? A simple question. I thought I might loosen you up a bit. I am a gentleman, if you will. Oh, please. A what? Stand up to him, Mia. Show him what you're made of. Ah, a perfect opportunity. Well, what was it? The cause. Go on. Please say you know at least this much. I'm so sorry. I didn't get a chance to read the whole file. My hemorrhoids are beginning to act up. Too much information, by the way. Now see here. The details of the case are filed under the court record. But you know that. But you knew that already, didn't you? The court record? I think I can see that by touching the court record button. All of the weapons we need can be found in the court record. Take a good hard look at the data there and think carefully before you answer, my dear. Yes, sir. I'll do just that. I've got to stay calm. I can't let that prosecutor get the better of me. The court record. Okay, let's take a look. I touched the button here. Now then, would the attorney for the defense please answer the question? What was the cause of death? There's asphyxiation, electrocution, and hypothermia. But the answer we're looking for is electrocution. According to the court record, it was a fatal electric shock. In other words, electrocution. Electrocution? But how could such a thing happen? Did a murderer use some type of new super powerful stun gun, perhaps? The answer will become crystal clear as the trial proceeds, Your Honor. But before that, there is one more vital issue. What's that? Why, motive, of course. Apparently there was some bad blood between the victim and the defendant. Bad blood? What do you mean? Whoopsie, I'm terribly sorry. You're the other defense attorney, so you must know all about it. I shouldn't be stealing your spotlight like this. Ooh. You shouldn't have said. There are some things a prosecutor like this doofus should never say. More on that later. I really don't like this guy's smug attitude. I agree, Mia. I agree. That's Winston Payne for you. He's one smooth operator. Not dignifying that, if you catch my drift. They don't call him the rookie killer for nothing, you know. Now then, let's hear from the defense. What was the source of the bad blood between the victim and the defendant? And this time, I would like to see some supporting evidence. Evidence? No need to get all worked up over this. As I said, all our weapons can be found in the court record. Find the evidence you need, and then shove it into old Greybeard's face. Yes, sir, into old Greybeard's face. Mr. Grossberg? Try to set a better example for the young lady. Mia, evidence isn't the only thing in the court record. People's profiles are as well. Yeah, this is the features back from the second game. You can toggle between profiles and evidence, so be sure to go over it all. Now then, let's see what you've got. What was the cause of the bad blood between Phoenix Wright and the victim? And here is your answer. Dahlia Hawthorne. The reason for the bad blood between the two of them was this woman here. Dahlia Hawthorne, is it? Very good, Miss Fey. You seem to have picked up on at least this much. This woman is the girlfriend of the defendant, Phoenix Wright. But up until 8 months ago, she was with the victim, Mr. Swallow. Clearly she has some part to play in this story. He's done it again. Before the cross-examination starts, he's already got the judge thinking like he wants. Very well. Mr. Payne, please call your first witness. If it pleases the court, the prosecution would like to call Mr. Phoenix Wright. What? The defendant himself? Well, Miss Fey, it's fine after all. It's fine. After all, Mr. Wright is innocent, right? The defense has no objection. Very well. The court calls Mr. Phoenix Wright to the witness stand. Alright, here we go. Let me turn up the volume on my part so that we can hear the music. Because with each new game comes new music. If I had to guess which one is the best court music out of the first 3 games, I would have to say I would rank the third one first, the first game second, and of course the third and of course this game's court music to be number 1. Number 2 would go for the first game, and of course last place is the second game in terms of court music. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Oh, yes. My name is Phoenix Wright. My job is, well, right now, I guess I'm a suspect. No, he means what you did before you were arrested. Oh, what you? I was, University student. Mr. Wright, you understand that you are suspected in the death of your fellow student Doug Swat, but I didn't do it. I'm innocent, I tell you. I'm telling you I was... Yeah, I'm not gonna bother with all the coughing and sneezing. Would the defendant please refrain from passing on his cold to the rest of us? Dude, that's why he's wearing the mask. It seems the witness has something he wants to say. Well then, Mr. Wright, please tell us about your relations to the victim. Right away, Your Honor. Alright, here we go. Testimony number 1. The victim and I. I admit I was there. But I'm not a killer. All I did was find his body. I hardly knew the guy to begin with. I never even talked to that stuck-up British wannabe. I see. So you hardly knew the victim. Right. Like I said, I'm not a killer. Phew. It looks like the judge understands. You're being too naive, you know. Too naive. Huh? It seems that you've forgotten one small thing, young lady. And that would be... This witness still hasn't undergone something called cross-examination. Cross-examination? He's right, and it's the defense's duty to carry out the cross-examination. The purpose is to determine if a witness's testimony contains any contradictions. Contradictions? If a witness is lying, their statements will conflict with the court record. But Mr. Wright is my client. Even if he is your client, in court all lies must be struck down. As a lawyer, that is your duty, you see. What does he mean by that? Is he saying that testimony just now? That there was a lie? A contradiction? Now then, your cross-examination, if you please, Miss Fey. Please, Mr. Wright, tell me you haven't been lying. You wouldn't do that to me, would you? Alright, here we go. Cross-examination. Alright, so there's a part where he said that something about British wannabe. So that's where I'm gonna press. So I'm gonna skip all this here. Let's see, I never even talked to that. Here it is. So let's press. Mr. Wright, you stated the following in your testimony. I hardly knew the guy to begin with. That's right. I mean, why would I even... But that doesn't sound right. If you hardly knew him, then why would you say that the victim was a stuck-up British wannabe? That's funny. Well, Mr. Wright? No, it wasn't me. I'm not a killer. I swear. Mr. Wright, I will give you an opportunity to revise your testimony. How is it that you knew the victim was, as you put it, a British wannabe? Yes, well, he was always walking around with a huge Union Jack on the back of his shirt. British shirt, you say? Let's present that little crime photo. Well, let's look at it first. Do you see any Union Jack shirt? I sure don't. So let's present it. Are you certain you saw the Union Jack? Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. It was right there on his back. Miss Fey, is there some point to this line of questioning? Your Honor, please take another look at the crime photo scene, at the crime scene photo. As you can see, there's absolutely nothing written on the victim's back. Hey, wait a minute. He's wearing a leather jacket. The Union Jack was on the back of the t-shirt he was wearing. I was under the impression that you accidentally came across the body. But if that was really the case, then you wouldn't know that, would you? You have no idea at all what he was wearing underneath that jacket. Mr. Wright, you've been lying to me. Please forgive me. Mia, you've made our client cry. Let him. That P on his chest doesn't stand for Phoenix anyways. I guess that line had to be changed to match what's going on, so at least I think. I can't believe I trusted him. Mr. Wright was all wrong. That was an impressive bit of cross-examination. Thank you for uncovering the defendant's lies for me. It's quite clear that this man did not simply stumble upon the scene of the crime. Uh-oh. Did I go too far? By the way, Mr. Wright, you seem to have a rather bad cold. Have you taken any medicine for it? Yeah, I took some, but was that a medicine that you took in over-the-counter brand like called Cold Killer X? In the Japanese version / anime, I don't know why they changed the letter for the medicine. In the original, in the anime and the original game, it was Cold Killer Z, but when they localized it, they changed it from a Z to an X. What was the point of that? Seriously, what was the point of that? Yeah, that's right. It kills colds good. Hey, wait a second. How did you know I'm a big fan of Cold Killer X? Would you happen to have that medicine with you right now? Well, actually, I seem to have lost it somewhere. Make a note of that. Make a note of that, and we'll get back to it later. He lost it? Does this even have anything to do with the case? Ooh, you won't believe how important it is. Mr. Wright, shall I tell you where your cold medicine is right now? Huh? Your Honor, I'd like you to take a look at another photo from the crime scene. What's this in the victim's hand? It's Cold Killer X. Yes, but even I got a bottle of Cold Killer X in my apartment. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid that argument won't work. There's no doubt as to who this bottle of Cold Killer X belonged to, especially since Mr. Wright's fingerprints were all over it. What? Sensing his murderous intent, Mr. Swallows must have picked up the bottle of medicine, dropped by Mr. Wright, and hid it in his hand. His purpose in doing so can only have been to identify his killer as Phoenix Wright. Order! Order in the court! Your Honor, I'd like to present this photo and bottle as evidence. Very well. The court will now accept them into the record. Alright, so we get two pieces of evidence. First off is the second crime photo and of course the bottle of Cold Killer Z. Yeah, I'm calling it Cold Killer Z. I ain't calling it X, so I'm going to what the original says. Also, the victim's wristwatch was broken. Broken? Yes, it ceased functioning when a large wave of electricity passed through it. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have some kind of explanation for all of this? This is really bad. Oh, my buttocks, my poor hemorrhoids. Dude, I told you, too much information, man. Alright, testimony number 2. What really happened? The truth is, I went because he called me. He was in the pharmacology department, so he agreed to meet at 2:45 behind that building. We talked for a bit, and then at around 3 o'clock, we split up. Then later, when I went back, I found him lying there. I've been taking Cold Killer Z for the last 2 or 3 days, but I lost my bottle of it around lunchtime on the day of the accident. Mr. Wright, that's completely different than the testimony you gave previously. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I was afraid you wouldn't believe the truth. You'll forgive me if I say I hardly find your current testimony any more credible. Miss Fey, please begin your cross-examination. Oh, please, Mr. Wright, don't tell any more lies. Alright, here we go. Cross-examination time. Let's see. Nope, not this one. Ah, here we go. Let's press. Was it Mr. Swallow who indicated you should meet at 2:45? Yeah, and we were both there right on time. You said the victim was in the pharmacology department, correct? Yeah, he was studying how to manufacture and improve pharmaceuticals. Everyone called him the alchemist of IVU. An alchemist? I see. I gotta admit, it was a little suspicious. He had a whole laboratory and everything. Excuse me. It was filled with chemicals and strange machines that run on high voltage electricity. Oh, how fascinating. He sounds like he was quite an ambitious young man. Oh, what do I do? Maybe I should ask him let me repeat that again. What should I do? Maybe I should ask him for some more details. About the department. I was wondering if you could tell us a bit more about the pharmacology department. Well, okay, sure. I don't know all that much, though. A little bit earlier in your testimony, you said something interesting. You said the department uses strange machines that run on high voltage electricity. That's right. And they look so dangerous. They use non-standard voltages, so there are high voltage cables everywhere. High voltage cables. Yeah, there were electrical poles set up all around the building. The high voltage cables run overhead or around the roof. Finally, I think we're getting somewhere. Getting somewhere, you say. Alright, so let's head towards Here it is. I've been taking Cold Killer Z for the last 2 or 3 days. Alright, so on the part where he says that I lost my bottle, we're gonna press there. On the day of the incident, what did you do for lunch? Huh? What does that have to do with anything? You can never be too sure. I always eat with Dolly, just two of us. Dolly's homemade lunches are just the greatest. Her mini omelets are magically delicious. Ouch! Why did you punch me in the jaw? Oh, I'm so sorry. I just felt like hurting someone all of a sudden. I think that's enough for now. So the defendant and the victim met approximately the time of his death. And then the defendant returned to the scene for some unknown reason. I'm not entirely convinced by his explanation about the medicine bottle either. Let me be frank here, Mr. Wright. Your testimony cannot be trusted. What do you mean? I knew it was too much work for a little girl. However, there is one mystery that still remains. There is, Your Honor? How the murder was carried out, of course. Just how was the victim electrocuted? I don't believe the murder weapon has been produced yet, correct? Well, that is, you are correct, Your Honor. So how exactly was Mr. Swallow killed? If I could somehow establish how it was done, maybe I could still come out of this mess smelling like a rose. Well, smelling like a rose. Sorry about that. Let's establish the murder method. Your Honor? Yes, Miss Fey? I believe that if we were to piece together everything we've heard up until now, we should be able to solve the mystery of how Mr. Swallow died. That would be most impressive. Quite the brash statement coming from a rookie. But even a beginner like you must understand the basic rules of the court. Yes, an attorney must be able let me rephrase again. An attorney must be able to substantiate their arguments with evidence. Of course I know that. Actually, I had totally forgotten about that. Now then, Miss Fey, let me see what you've got. Show me how you believe the victim was electrocuted. Let's go to the crime photo scene numero uno. As for the cause of death, I'd say this picture captures it quite well. What? But there is nothing that even remotely resembles a murder weapon. I'm afraid the defense is going to have to explain this in a bit more detail. Miss Fey, where exactly in this photo is the murder weapon? We're gonna switch here and bum-ba-da-dum. Well, naturally, it's right here. That's... What is that? A severed electrical cable, I believe, Your Honor. Remember the testimony we've heard? The machines the pharmacology students use in their experiments require high voltage. And because of that, there are special high voltage cables strung up everywhere. So then, the high voltage cable. Yes, the high voltage cable is the cause of death. That is the most likely explanation. That certainly sounds plausible. Well, Mr. Payne, what do you have to say about this? Well, I believe some praise is in order. Don't toy with me, old man. Excuse me. Now, the victim's cause of death may indeed have been a high voltage cable. Which it is, by the way. However, I want you to think about what that really implies. The only one who had the opportunity to use the cable as a murder weapon was the defendant. That much is certainly true. Yes, And that's not all. We have proof. Excuse me 1 second. There we go. Yes, and that's not all. We have proof. Irrefutable proof. Proof that will establish that Mr. Wright was the murderer. You do? Well, what is it? His fingerprints. Fingerprints? You mean the defendant's fingerprints were on something besides the medicine bottle? Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. As you can see, the victim is wearing a leather jacket. And as you may know, leather holds fingerprints quite well. You mean? Yes, it was quite clearly imprinted on the chest area of the victim's jacket. The palm print of the defendant's very own hand. What? I can only think of one way that Mr. Wright could have left a print like that. Intent on murder. He squarely pushed the victim towards the severed electrical cable. Order! 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 That's enough. I think we can conclude there is no reason to continue with this cross-examination. Stick a fork in us. We're done. Mr. Grossberg! My hemorrhoids never lie. The show is over, Mia. I knew that boy was guilty the first time I saw him. No, you're wrong. Mr. Wright is innocent. No further evidence is required to convince me of this man's guilt. Your Honor! At this time, I am prepared to render a verdict in this case. Do you have something further to add, Miss Fey? Is this what you want, Mr. Wright? You still haven't told us the truth. The whole truth. If you don't say something now, the judge is going to hand down his verdict. But I can't. I just can't say it. If I told you what really happened, then I'd be... It's okay, Mr. Wright. I'm your attorney. You can trust me. Oh yeah, and keep in mind that there will be times where music from Justice for All will play, and it really works. All right, Miss Fey. No matter what is it you have to say, I believe in you, and I'll represent you to the very end. We've already established the defendant's guilt. There's no further need for him to say anything. Wait a minute! Mr. Wright? I'll tell you what really happened. But I've already told you, Mr. Wright. There's no need for further. I did it. I admit it. I pushed him. It's my fault. My fault that Doug Swallow is dead. That girl, you shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, it's none of your business. I'm telling you for your sake. If you continue to see her, it's going to be bad news. You're lying. Just listen to me. There's something you need to know about that girl. Stop it! Don't talk about her like that. What you just said, was that the truth? Yes, I was afraid. Afraid that if I told the truth, Everyone would think I was the murderer for sure. Well, as things currently stand, we're absolutely convinced you are. But please give me one more chance to explain. This time, I swear I'll tell the whole truth. It'll be okay, won't it, Miss Fey? I believe in you. Oh, thank you. I still can't believe it. He really did push the victim. Ugh, feels like my hemorrhoids are doing the Harlem Shake. Keep in mind, I think this is just for this case alone. That there will be some references to pop culture or something. You'll see. Alright, here we go. Testimony number 3. I may have lost count, but here we go. When I pushed the victim. That guy, he was talking bad about Dolly. I lost my temper and gave him a shove. At that moment, I heard some kind of loud noise. A little while after I left, I started to get worried. So I went back, but he was just laying there, dead. Well, the explanation is really quite simple. When you pushed him, Mr. Swallow flew back and touched the electrical cable. He died from the shock, and that, as they say, is that. Oy, este tonto. How wrong he is. A simple explanation indeed. At the time of the incident, a light rain had been falling. Wet from the rain, the victim was more easily electrocuted. But when I pushed him, there weren't any electrical cables nearby. If there had been something like that, even I would have noticed. It's true. Even a doofus like him could miss that. Miss Fey, let me warn you right now that if your cross-examination doesn't yield any new facts, which it will, by the way, Judge, I intend to deliver my verdict without further delay. Are we clear on that? Yes, Your Honor. Don't give up, Mia. If he is innocent, there must be some kind of evidence somewhere that will prove it. Alright, I'm gonna press on the part where it says loud noise. So here we go. Yeah, the only thing I have to be careful is which one, which part of the testimony is it? Here it is. Because sometimes I press the button without even thinking, so here we go. Loud noise? And what will you say that loud noise was, Mr. Wright? I'm not sure, but it was really loud. It was like snap. You know, come to think of it, I wonder what that was. Clearly, Your Honor, it was the sound of the victim being electrocuted. You're not qualified to decide that. What should I do? I'm treading on some dangerous ground here. Let's ask for more details. Mr. Wright, that loud noise you heard may be extremely important, so try to remember what it was. How do I put it? It was like a sharp crack. Could it have been... Yes? Could it have been... Hurry up and tell us! When I pushed him, he dropped the umbrella he was holding. He fell right on to the top of it and it broke. That was probably the noise I heard. An umbrella, huh? And did that umbrella belong to the victim? Yeah, It was a plastic umbrella, cheap and frail, kind of like the owner. That's a harsh thing to say, you know. Then again, I wish I had any kind of umbrella. I was totally soaked to the bone. Miss Fey? What do you think? Is there something important in that testimony just now? Well, duh, it is. This is it, Mia. The new information you've been waiting for. Of course it's important. No, this cheap umbrella is more than important. It's vital. I want to officially have it entered into the testimony. Ha! How perfectly fitting. Flimsy information for a flimsy lawyer. The court agrees to the defense request. Witness, please add the bit about the cheap umbrella to your testimony. After I shoved him, he fell down on the top of his cheap umbrella. I think this is the one that has the umbrella, if I remember correctly. Why didn't you testify about the umbrella from the very beginning? Come on, if I had mentioned that, I would have been able to counter the prosecution's arguments earlier. What do you mean by that? Take another look at the crime scene photo. According to Mr. Wright, the victim fell on top of his umbrella. However, if you look closely, the umbrella is nowhere near the victim. Actually, it's by the electrical pole. You're absolutely right. The conclusion here is obvious. After the defendant left, the victim moved from where he fell. In other words, after he was pushed by the defendant, Mr. Swallow was still alive. No! Order! 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 The victim! He moved? Mr. Payne, the umbrella in this photo. Where is it now? Well, it was collected by the police at the crime scene. I want it presented as evidence immediately. Thank you. But the umbrella could have simply been blown there by the wind. According to the testimony, the victim fell on top of the umbrella. There's simply no way it could have been blown there by the wind. But I know this matter of the umbrella seems relatively trivial, but as long as the smallest doubt remains, I cannot render final judgment. No! But we're not done yet. Oh no. We're not done yet at all. I think I might have skipped a part. The only thing I wish they would have had in the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, there's a button, there's an option called History, which is capped to a certain button. When you press it, it'll say like most of the dialogue that just appeared. Prosecution's case by the defendant's testimony. Unfortunately, I didn't see what it said, so I apologize there. Well done, Mia. Mr. Payne, what are you chuckling about? Pardon me, Your Honor. It seems I was expecting too much of a free ride. It was foolish to think I could establish guilt through cross-examination alone. I'm afraid I don't follow what you're saying. Let me guess. You have another witness. Exactly. The witness's testimony will be incontrovertible. Well, who is this witness? Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. Dahlia Hawthorne? You don't mean Dolly? I do, Your Honor. The defendant's very own lover is a witness to the whole thing. That's right. She was at the scene of the crime when the murder took place. What? I'm sorry to break the bad news to you, my dear. Bad news? You couldn't be more wrong. Actually, I've been waiting for this. You can't be serious. Mia? What do you mean by that? I think this is a good point for us to stop at. Court will now enter a 20-minute recess. Afterwards, we will listen to the testimony of Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. Well, we're not there yet, but let's head back towards the lobby. Miss Fey, I'm sorry about what happened back there. It's all right. At least you told us the truth in the end, Mr. Wright. Yeah, so I guess I can start to relax then, huh? Relax, my boy? You can't be serious after hiding such important facts. But the next witness is my Dolly, right? She'll save me. I just know she will. Ooh, excuse me. I'm not sure if that was like a very silent burp there. Why do you think that? Huh? What do you mean? She's the love of my life. That's why. The love of your life, huh? Would you mind telling me more about you and Miss Dahlia Hawthorne? Sure, no problem. Dolly and we first met about 8 months ago right here in this very courthouse. Actually, I'm studying to be a lawyer on the side. Anyway, one day, she and I just bumped into each other into the reading room downstairs. That's why I really think it was fate that brought us together. As soon as I first set eyes on her, I knew she was the one for me. Oh, here, take a look at this. She gave this to me the day we met as a symbol of our love. She had been wearing it around her neck that day, but then she took it off. But before she gave it to me, she said, "I want you to carry this." So she gave it to you as a present, I see. This darling little bottle is filled with memories of my darling little Dolly. It certainly is a little bottle. It's sorry, wrong character. It certainly is a little bottle, all right. It makes me so happy. I show it to everyone I meet. I want to share my happiness with the whole world. Alright, so we get a new piece of evidence. Dahlia's present. Anyway, so after that, you and Miss Hawthorne started dating? Yeah, but she's so shy. Every time I see her, she always says the same thing to me. Please give it back now. What a strange girl asking for a present back like that. By the way, Mr. Wright, the day you first met Dahlia Hawthorne, 8 months ago, it wouldn't happen to have been on August 27th, would it? Huh? Yeah, it was. But how did you... This happened on August 27th, right here in this courthouse. What's this? A newspaper clipping? Let's see. Murder in the courthouse. Murder? What are you reading there? Let me see that. Oh, I see. Mia, I think I understand what you're trying to say. And I think I understand why you suddenly took such a keen interest in this case. You believe there is some relationship between these two cases. Am I correct? All will be revealed later. I hope you don't mind, Mr. Grossberg. I need to finish this myself. Ah, yes, but I'm afraid what you have will not be enough, my dear. I'll go have a look at the downstairs reading room and see what else I can find. Thank you. I want to do whatever I can to be of help to you, Mia. Well, it looks like recess is about over. We'd better get we'd better all get moving. I guess so. That recess sure seemed longer than 20 minutes, though. To be continued. We're not done here. Oh no. I'm just gonna take a little break and I'll be right back. So, cut. Okay, I'm back. Alright. Here we go. Part 2. Let it begin. Oh yeah, first things first, gotta save the game. Alright, back in the courtroom we go. Court will now reconvene. Mr. Payne, please call your witness. This next person is someone who witnessed the crime as it happened. The prosecution calls Miss Dahlia Hawthorne to the stand. And get used to her theme song. The Dahlia Hawthorne's theme song. As, let's just say, don't let the music fool you. I'll explain more on that later on. Or basically, I'll let her actions explain it all. What's with this stiff silence? In my long career as a judge, I have been deceived by many witnesses. It's my job to doubt, to take no one at their word. But in your case, I must admit that you radiate a glow of complete sincerity. I can't believe he actually said that. Oh, now then, witness, could you please state your full name? Don't worry, sweetie. There's no need to be nervous. If anyone says anything rude, you can be sure I'll cut them right down to size. And I will bash them with my gavel. I love how they look straight at me when they say that. Thank you for calming my nerves. You are all so nice. I almost feel right at home. Not at all. It was nothing. If we may move on, what is your full name and occupation? My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I am a junior in... Sorry, got something in my throat. Excuse me. I'm a junior in literature at Ivy University. I just want to say it's an honor for me to be here in your noble presence. The honor is all mine. No, the honor is all mine. Well, we know whose milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. Get it? Sir? Is there something I can help you with? You just go on and say whatever is on your mind. I'm sure that there must be some kind of mistake. Beanie wouldn't kill anyone. I just know it. Yes. I can see why you'd say that. She's going to be a tough witness, all right. It only took her 12 seconds to wrap them all around her little finger. Now then, please proceed with your testimony. let's hear about what you witnessed on the day of the incident, if you please. Alright, here we go. Testimony number 4. What I witnessed. I may have lost count there, so I apologize. I had been planning to go back to Feeney's place after class was over. Feeny and Dougie, they were talking behind the building. Then, suddenly, Dougie got all wobbly and just collapsed. We're gonna have to press on that. That's when Feeny noticed that I was there. I went to go and find some other students, and they called the authorities. I don't know what to say. According to you, Miss Hawthorne, the defendant didn't do anything wrong. Young lady, as old as I am, even I recall how the hot flames of young passion can burn. Nevertheless, it is my job to discover the truth. Please, tell us the truth. But I would never. That's more than enough, witness. I won't allow you to continue. I won't allow this to continue. What do you mean by that? Please, just let me proceed with my cross-examination, Your Honor. I, for one, don't plan to win my case on a bunch of paper-thin lies. You haven't changed a bit, Mia Fey. What's this? So, you two are acquainted? Yes, we've met before. Once. In any case, Miss Fey, the floor is all yours. It's good to see you again, Madame Fey. Madame? I'm no one's grandma yet, girlie. Alright. Here we go. If y'all remember the part where it says, where Doug got all, quote, wobbly, that's where I'm going to press. So I'm going to skip this part, and this part. Here we go. Let's press. Are you saying that the victim just collapsed on his own? Yes. In other words, the defendant never touched the victim. Is that right? I was watching the whole time. Feeny never did a thing to Dougie. If I press her for no good reason, I just know the judge will get angry with me. So, what should I do about her testimony just now? Let's show some contradiction. Feeble lies are not very becoming, Miss Hawthorne. So let's drop them, shall we? What? I would never. Miss Fey, I will not allow you to badger this witness. I believe the defense is engaged in a fishy expedition. That is, she has no supporting. Please don't glare at me like that. I'm just doing my job. Now then, Miss Hawthorne. The defendant's palm print was found on Mr. Swallow's a leather jacket. It has already been shown that Mr. Wright did in fact push the victim. What? There's no need to try to cover for the defendant. It would be much better if you came out and told us the whole truth. There's nothing to worry about, young lady. Just tell us everything that you saw. Yes, Your Honor, I will. If you don't mind, I'd like to revise my testimony. Looks like we're finally getting somewhere. Actually, I didn't see the moment he pushed Dougie. So yeah, this is new testimony. Alright, so let's go on. It didn't look like they were fighting, and I didn't hear any noise. Yeah, about that. Let's take a look at Phoenix's testimony. It says the victim fell on top of his umbrella. There was a loud sound when this happened. So, how could she not have heard such a loud noise? Let's present it. You say you didn't hear any noise, is that correct? Yes, that's why I was very relaxed, looking at this scenery around me. That's nice, but I find that just a little odd. I have here the testimony of your boyfriend, Mr. Phoenix Wright, and he clearly testified to the effect that when he pushed the victim, he heard a sharp, loud noise. He said that? If you were really that close to the two of them, why didn't you hear this noise as well? Well, maybe the noise just wasn't all that memorable. How? She was right near them. Well, she was hiding somewhere, but she was watching. So, she should be able to hear that noise. But we find out the real reason why she didn't hear that noise. But according to Mr. Wright's testimony, it was a sharp noise, like a snap. There's no way a noise like that could fail to make an impression. May I have a moment to answer? By all means. I know the reason why I didn't hear the noise. You see, the truth is, I had my headphones on, and I was listening to music at the time. Headphones? You mean that both of your ears were covered? The rain was just beginning to let up, but it seemed as though Thor wasn't ready for his fun to come to an end yet. So the sky continued to flash and rumble. Thunder and lightning, huh? Yes, I'm afraid of the sound of thunder, so I put my headphones on to block it out. With an umbrella like that, she might have a chance, but at the same time, having headphones on... keep in mind, this is at a time where wireless headphones were... in 2007, probably? I'm not sure. We're still in its infancy. Like, we're still getting used to wireless headphones. But, yeah, this is a time where we still had wired headphones. But yeah, even with the umbrella that she always carries, it's still a risk. It's still a risk because keep in mind that she has an electronic device next to her, and well, you know, and if electrical devices are exposed to water, well, there's a possibility of something not good. Alright, so where was I? So I put my headphones on to block it out. Well, Your Honor, as you can see, there weren't any contradictions in her testimony after all. Wait a sec, Mia. That testimony just now. She said something that could totally change this whole case. There was lightning. Your Honor, there is a problem with the witness's testimony. What do you mean? Didn't you notice? She said there was lightning, correct? Yes. What about it? Well, lightning is actually a large discharge of electricity in the atmosphere. Am I right? Now's not the time for a science lesson, Miss Fey. Yes, Your Honor. Anyway, since the cause of death was electrocution, isn't it possible for the victim... isn't it possible that the victim died from being hit by a bolt of lightning? Oh, I must admit that thought had not occurred to me. Just what kind of thoughts do occur to this guy anyway? This entire case is built on the premise of Mr. Doug Swallow, that Mr. Doug Swallow was murdered. But that very premise itself is mistaken. The defense believes that Mr. Swallow was, in fact, the victim of a stray bolt. It appears that the defense may be on to something. Could it be that the death was actually accidental? All right, you did it, Mia. I'll be taking that not guilty now. I'm hurt that you have such a low opinion of me, Miss Fey. Huh? I'm not a fool, you know. The prosecution has done its research, Your Honor. We found that there were no lightning strikes on the day, that day at the location. What? What's more, we have evidence that the electrical cable is definitely linked to this case. Evidence, Mr. Payne. Well, what is this evidence? This affidavit. And who is this affidavit from? The pharmacology students who were conducting experiments in their labs that day. Allow me to read it out to the court, the testimony of the pharmacology students. All equipment in the labs lost power. Excuse me, let me lower the volume here. It's loud. Apologize. Repeating, all equipment in the labs lost power all of a sudden at around 3 p.m. that day. Was it a blackout? All of the lab's equipment runs on high voltage, Your Honor. So you're saying the equipment lost power because... Precisely. They lost power because of the severed electrical cable. The power outage occurred at approximately 3 p.m., which fits the time of death listed in the autopsy. Spoiler warning here. Let's look at the crime scene photo of when Doug Swallow actually died. We'll get to that real soon. Exactly. In other words, the victim died as a result of touching the severed electrical cable. According to the students, the cables were very old. They were planning on having them replaced in the near future. I see. Apparently, the cables had become so brittle that even the smallest bump would have caused them to break. Alright, so we get the student's testimony as evidence. However, there is one thing that troubles me. If the cable could have been broken by any small bump, then it wouldn't have snapped if it hadn't been bumped into, correct? Well, I suppose you could say that. Miss Fey, do you have any thoughts regarding the cause of the severed cable? Your Honor, I don't like how this is looking one bit. I have to come up with something to try to regain some momentum. If it pleases the court, the defense would like to state its opinion. Well then, let's hear it. Who or what was it that could have caused the cable to break? We have no choice but to answer with Phoenix himself. Your Honor, please think back to Mr. Wright's testimony. The defendant's testimony? He said that after he pushed the victim, he heard a loud, sharp noise. Now, this happened around 3 p.m., correct? Yes, that sounds right. Wait, are you saying that the lab equipment lost power at 2:55 p.m., which fits right in Mr. Wright's timeline? In other words, it was Mr. Wright's shove that caused the power outage. Yes, the prosecution also came to that same conclusion. And it was that very shove that caused Mr. Swallow to be electrocuted. About that. I'm afraid I can't agree with you there, Mr. Payne. Well, what's that supposed to mean? Take a good look at where the victim landed after being shoved. See the umbrella? It's by the electrical pole. That's right. The victim banged into that pole as a result of being pushed. It was that impact that caused the cable to break. Well, that makes sense. And then the victim was electrocuted. Nope, not really. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but no. It doesn't make sense at all. If the victim was shoved into the far pole, then he couldn't have been electrocuted by this severed cable in the foreground here. Ah! In other words, someone other than my client must have electrocuted the victim. Order! Order in the court! Ah, the lamentations of my enemy. How I've longed to hear them. It's true. The defense is absolutely correct. There doesn't seem to be any way that the defendant... Mr. Judge, sir? May I say something? The Madame Attorney's explanation. She said some things that are a little different than I remember them. But... What the... Please, just... once more. May I please testify one last time? Please, Mr. Judge? Of course it's all right. Just go right ahead and give your new testimony. This is it. She's finally starting to show her true colors. Oh, trust me, her true colors will show, and it's not what you're gonna expect. All right, here we go. Number 5, I think. What I Witnessed. Part 2. The truth is, Feeney pushed him twice. The first time was into the electric pole. That's when the cable broke. Then Dougie tried his best to run away from him. But Feeney caught up and crashed into him from behind. The cable snapping and Dougie being electrocuted, it all occurred in less than a minute. Less than a minute, you say? So after being shoved, the victim got up and tried to run away. And that is when the defendant pushed him for the second time. I'm so sorry, Feeney, but I just have to tell the truth. You mean you have to tell the lie? Am I doing the right thing? Am I, Mr. Judge? Of course you are, my dear. As painfully as it may seem, you are. Now then, Miss Fey, you may proceed with your cross-examination. Less than a minute, you say? Let's go to that little part. Again, I have to be careful how many times I push the button, because I might pass up something. Alright, there we go. So what I'm going to present is the student's testimony. The old power cable broke due to some sort of impact on April 9th at 2:55. That's enough, witness. I'm afraid I don't understand. You will in a minute. Could you please take a look at this picture? Oh, that medicine. That's the one Feeney likes to take for his cold. It's not the medicine I want you to look at. It's the wristwatch. It stopped at the precise time the victim was electrocuted. In other words, 3:05. Yes, and your point is, Miss Fey? My point is this. What time was it when the labs suffered the power outage due to the cable snapping? Well, according to the student's testimony, the answer is clear. It was 2:55. Yeah? Would you care to explain to the court, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne, what exactly happened during this 10-minute interval? The defense proposes that it was during this interval that the real murderer killed Mr. Doug Swallow. Excuse me? Order! Order in the court! This is nonsense! The real murderer! Even you can't deny that the time between the cable breaking and the electrocution are completely unaccounted for. Then who was it? Who else are you saying could have done it? There's only one person who could have murdered Mr. Swallow. Only after my client had left the scene. Was there a window of opportunity for the real killer? Miss Fey, is the defense ready to indict someone as the real killer? It's finally time. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Yes, Your Honor, we are ready. Very well. But remember, if you accuse the wrong person, you will be penalized. Think carefully before you speak, Miss Fey. Oh, thankfully, it's not that much. So, you're given a few more tries anyways. Alright, we're going to switch to profiles and present Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. It could only have been you, Dahlia Hawthorne. What? How? How can you... The defense is grasping at straws. 10 minutes passed between the time the cable broke and the time of the electrocution. What exactly were you doing the whole time, Miss Hawthorne? Were you really listening to some music while cheering them both on as they fought? I find it hard to believe that you didn't lift a finger to stop the men dearest to you. Order! Order! Miss Fey! What? I mean, why? This is to say, Miss Hawthorne, I believe you did witness the two men fighting on that day. However, after Mr. Wright pushed the victim and subsequently left the scene, it was you who pushed Mr. Swallow to his death by your very own hands. Yeah, I'm not gonna yell that. How can you say something so mean, Madame Fey? I didn't do anything. Miss Fey, this is a very serious charge. Your Honor, please, I have something I want to say. What is it? Please strike everything the defense said just now from the record. What the? Are you daft? You're totally wrong, Miss Fey. Dolly, she couldn't do something like that. Mr. Wright, get back in your seat. Bailiff, grab that man. Uh, leave my dolly alone! That boy. He's gotten... Oh, I thought it was Dahlia. My bad. He's gotten himself way over his head. Oh, Mr. Crossbird, you're back. It seems I've arrived just in the nick of time. I found the police report on that incident in your newspaper clipping. And thus we get a new piece of evidence, the police report. Let's take a look at it real quick before we continue on. Alright, we can check here. It's 2 pages worth. Location, the District Courthouse Cafeteria. Date and time, August 27th, 4 p.m. Victim, Diego Armando, age 28. Occupation, lawyer. Suspect, Dahlia Hawthorne, age 19. Details. Armando suggested poison while interviewing the suspect regarding another case. Traces of poison were found in the victim's coffee cup. No poison was found in the vicinity or on the suspect's person. It is unclear how the poison entered the victim's cup. We hear more on that much later. Alright, back to where we were. I thank you so much. This is exactly what I was hoping for. You'd better take a good look at it. It, details how you came to lose your boyfriend. Now then, the defense has made a very serious accusation. Mr. Payne, what do you have to say about this? Well, really, Your Honor, May I interrupt you for just a moment, Mr. Prosecutor? Don't worry, my dear. I have this situation well in hand. That is, go right ahead. Madame Fey, are you seriously accusing me of killing my sweet Dougie? Yes, I am. Not only am I saying you murdered Doug Swallow, but you also tried to pin the whole thing on your current lover, Phoenix Wright. I told you that you should let me handle this. Sorry, please go ahead. How can you say that? I'm absolutely devoted to my dear Feeny. The notion that I would try to frame him is ludicrous. This is all just too much for poor little me to bear. Oh, I believe the girl is trying to ask what on earth her motive would be. The answer to that lies somewhere in this police report. It must. 8 months ago, an incident occurred in the basement cafeteria of this building. And then, that same day, the two of them accidentally meet. Your Honor, the defense requests further testimony from Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. Further testimony? What about? About the events of the day when she first met the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright. What could that possibly have to do with this case? The witness claims that she has no reason to frame the defendant. Am I correct? Well, I have evidence that suggests that she, in fact, has a very good reason. Very well. The court grants the defense's request. Young lady, would you mind staying on for just a bit longer? Of course not, Mr. Judge. Get ready for the battle of your life, Dahlia Hawthorne. Testimony number 6. How I met my Feeny. Yeah, I think I did lose count. I first met my darling Feeny 8 months ago. It's like we were destined to meet in this very courthouse. the basement reading room. The moment our eyes met, my heart skipped a beat. We've been going out ever since that fateful day. We're so lovey-wovey, we literally make people sick. It's jealousy, I think. Mr. Wright, do that again and you will be held in contempt of court. And now we enter the final act of our little drama. As we used to say in the days of my youth, go get her. Alright, so the part where it says that they were, quote, destined to meet, I'm going to press on that. Let's see. Here it is. The courthouse reading room. That's a strange place to meet of a love of your life. That's not true, Madame Fey. After all, if Phoenix was not only an art student, but he was also planning on becoming a lawyer. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about you, Miss Hawthorne. What was a literature student like you doing in a courthouse reading room? This line of questioning is a waste of time. It has nothing to do with our murder case. Miss Fey, I'm warning you. If this has nothing to do with Mr. Swallow's case, I have to remember the other judges on Dahlia's side. I better tread carefully. Let's keep pressing. I don't care what the judge has to say. Your Honor, if you'll allow me some latitude, I think I can establish relevance. Please ask her to continue on with her testimony. Very well. Young lady, I've got a simple question for you. What were you doing downstairs in the courthouse reading room? If it pleases Your Honor, the answer is simply this. I had come to this courthouse to do some research I had come to this courthouse to do some research for a paper I was writing. Let's keep pressing. You were writing a paper? On what? On the relationship between modern sensen, Ryu poetry, and the criminal underworld. Oh, that sounds like a fascinating research idea. Am I getting old? Now I've even forgotten what I've forgotten. Again with the midlife crisis stuff. Mia, why did that girl really come to the courthouse? Isn't that what you wanted to know? And speaking of forgetting things, you haven't forgotten the police report, have you? I went through all that trouble to get it, my dear. So please be sure to read it carefully. Which I've already did. Alright, so let's go to I had come to the courthouse and let's present the police report. Miss Hawthorne, you weren't here because of your research paper, were you? Didn't you actually come here for a much more important reason? What is the meaning of this cocky smile on your face, Miss Fey? 8 months ago, right here in this very courthouse, there was another tragedy. Another tragedy? Do you mean the incident in which an attorney was poisoned? Sorry, I was checking my phone. The name of the suspect in that incident is listed here in this report. And that name is Dahlia Hawthorne. What? Dahlia Hawthorne? Yes, the sweetie pie of everyone's eye, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. She was the prime suspect in a criminal case just 8 months ago. Order! 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 This is unbelievable. It's true then. The loveliest Rosa... Miss Fey, that's not fair. You can't slander my witness with the unrelated cases. I, Winston Payne, will not allow it. Mr. Prosecutor, I believe I was speaking. Pardon me. Go right ahead. It's true that about 8 months ago, the police expressed some interest in me. Expressed some interest, huh? Mr. Judge, sir, I know I'm under oath, so I'll tell you the absolute truth. I did not commit the crime that occurred during the incident 8 months ago. I see. Okay, I've tied the two crimes together. Now I've just got to stay on the offensive. Sorry. Well done, Mia. Oh, you've really lit a fire in my heart and my buttocks. Again, ew, just too much information, man. I can hardly tell which is more inflamed, my spirit or my hemorrhoids. Alright. Final testimony. The poisoning. I met a lawyer who was poisoned to discuss something in the cafeteria that day. I left my seat for just a moment, and that's when it happened. From what I've heard, it was a liquid poison that is lethal at just 2 teaspoons. Not only that, I heard it was a very special kind of poison. So you see, I'm innocent. I wouldn't even know where to get a poison like that. About that... So that's what happened here 8 months ago. However, you've heard from the witness's testimony she had nothing to do with it. I think the defense is just about out of tricks. I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Payne, but I'm afraid the defense has more tricks up its sleeve today. And I'll be sure to know them and I'll be sure to show them to you before the end of this cross-examination. What the? Why does the defense suddenly feel stronger? Aha! Mia, you're glowing with a true lawyer's aura, my dear. That's proud posture and self-confidence. Absolutely smashing. Alright, so the part where it says, there's no way I could have gotten a hold of that poison. Let's present some proof on that. So we're gonna skip all this part here. Guess we're almost there. Let's present. Switch to Doug Swallow. Well, the picture of Doug Swallow. You wouldn't know how to get that kind of poison. You wouldn't know how to get that kind of poison? I don't believe you. What? In fact, you had an easy access to that kind of poison, didn't you? At your boyfriend's lab. Boyfriend? You mean the victim, Doug Swallow? That's right. Up until 8 months ago, Miss Hawthorne was dating Mr. Swallow. And if you'll recall, Mr. Swallow was a pharmacology student at Ivy University. For pharmacology? His laboratory contained highly advanced chemistry equipment. In fact, without such equipment, the culprit could never have obtained such a rare and special poison. Well, Miss Hawthorne, it seems you had access to such a poison after all. And then, it was a matter of slipping it into the victim's coffee when he wasn't looking. And thus we're introduced to the trailer music, actually. Because all 3 game trailers for the Phoenix Wright games share that same song. Some of them. The only person who could have done that was the one sitting at his very table. You. No! Order! 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 Could it be? That's nothing but a basic act. May I say something, Madame Fey? What is it, Miss Hawthorne? The amount of poison in the coffee was 2 teaspoons, correct? In order to carry that much liquid, you would need some kind of container. Well, yes, that's true. I was searched immediately after the incident took place. Quite true. In fact, the entire courthouse was turned upside down. But they didn't find a suspicious container anywhere, did they? She's right. They even mentioned that in a report. Well, you could have easily gotten rid of something that small. Excuse me, madame? But this is a court of law. If you're saying I threw the poison container away, I think you need to show some kind of proof. Proof? She got me good with that. Provide some evidence or I'll have to disallow this line of questioning, Miss Fey. Unless we can come up with some evidence, we're going to lose this lead. The police conducted a full-body search of Dahlia and of the entire courthouse. And yet the container holding the poison disappeared right after the crime occurred. If you're going to accuse the young lady of committing the murder, then where is the container the poison was carried in? What happened to it? Isn't it obvious? Bam! Dahlia's present. You were forced to get rid of the container in a hurry, weren't you? And that's why you passed it on to someone that had nothing to do with the case. Someone that you knew wouldn't be searched. Who is this person? Mr. Phoenix Wright, of course. So the defendant was this witness's accomplice? Of course not. She gave the poison to him disguised as a present. What? But that's... That's a charming little necklace. Is this a little bottle? It's really quite cute. So, what about it? What does this mean, Miss Fey? The day the witness met and fell for Mr. Phoenix Wright was 8 months ago, August 27th, the very same day as the poisoning incident. Under the pretense of love, the witness gave my client a present. All for the purpose of hiding the one piece of evidence that would give her away. What? Are you saying that there's a deadly poison in here? No, there's no longer any poison in that bottle. However, I'm certain if the crime lab were to analyze it, they would find a trace amount. No! And no, I'm not going to say the wah part. Order! Order in the court! On behalf of Dolly, I object! Mr. Wright, control yourself. I won't let you bully her like this. Mr. Wright, I thought I told you to stay in your seat. Mr. Wright? Why? Why are you going through so much trouble to protect her? Why? Because I'm madly in love with her. Madly in love. I haven't heard anyone say that in a long time. Mr. Wright, have you ever thought about this? Why exactly would a woman like Dahlia Hawthorne want to date you anyway? Well, I guess she must be madly in love with me too. Mr. Wright, please, open your eyes. At this point in the trial, I think it should be obvious to everyone. The real reason that Dahlia Hawthorne is dating you is because of the necklace. What else? Dahlia Hawthorne was not and is not madly in love with you. The only thing she's after is that bottle necklace you love to wear around your neck. My necklace? Back there in the waiting room, you said it yourself. Yeah, but she's so shy. Every time I see her, she always says the same thing to me. Please give it back now. What a strange girl, asking for a present back like that. For Dahlia Hawthorne, that necklace is irrefutable evidence of her crime. That's why she absolutely had to get it back. You're lying. But you never gave it back to her. And to make things worse for her, you insisted on showing it to everyone you met. That's why she... I don't believe you. No, that's a lie. Mia, are you alright? The defendant's getting away. Bailiff, hurry! After him! Mia, are you alright? Yes, I think so. That boy, he went completely insane. Where's Mr. Wright? It looks like the bailiff caught him, so he should be brought back here soon. Thank goodness. Oh no! What is it? The bottle necklace! Miss Hawthorne's present! It's gone! What? That's terrible! Mr. Wright must have grabbed it when he slammed into me. Foolish boy! That's the only thing that could have saved him. Well, you're not wrong about that. What in the blazes are we supposed to do now? Mr. Wright, this sort of behavior is unprecedented in the history of this court. I'm sorry. I'm afraid that your apology is not enough. Mr. Wright, what did you do with the bottle necklace? Forgive me. I'm sorry. It's okay. Just give back the necklace. I ate it. You what? You ate it? It was too big to swallow, so I had to chew it into little bits first. But yeah. What the... What is he doing now? Your Honor, you've got to stop the trial. Mr. Wright, are you feeling okay? Does your stomach hurt? That bottle you swallowed may have had some poison left in it. It seems the defendant has proven the prosecution's case for us. Clearly that bottle did not contain a deadly poison. How can you be so sure? I think that's obvious. As you can see, the defendant is still very much alive. As for the poison, more like a fledgling defense attorney's overactive imagination. So it would seem. No, there must be some mistake. The bottle must not have had any poison left in it. Either that or the poison must have lost its potency. There. It's all right, rookie. Trusting your client is the most noble thing a defense attorney can do, and it's heartwarming to see that you place this much faith in Mr. Wright. But that's how it is for us on the prosecution side, too. For example, I would trust the witness, Miss Hawthorne, with my very life. Remember that. Which is why I can state that your assessment of her is completely wrong. That's enough. Unfortunately, Miss Fey, I cannot accept your explanation of the events. But why? This may be impossible for a beginner like you to understand, but in a court of law, evidence is everything. Sorry, I have to drink some more water. Even though I've proven so much, is she going to get away with everything? Well, now that the suspicion of Miss Hawthorne has been cleared up, I would like to proceed with the trial. Mr. Wright? I'm sorry, Miss Fey. It totally slipped on my mind. I'm really sorry. I know you believed in me, and I feel like I really let you down. Mr. Wright, what are you trying to say? There's something I forgot to tell you. What is it? That day? The day I met Doc Swallow? That girl, you shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, it's none of your business. I'm telling you for your sake, if you continue to see her, it's going to be bad news. You're lying. Just listen to me. There's something you need to know about that girl. Last night, someone stole some poison from our lab. Poison? The same thing happened 8 months ago. A drug sample was stolen. She came to the lab at that time too. It could only have been her. That girl is a thief. Stop it! Don't talk about her like that. Is it true? Did you really say that? That's ridiculous! There's one more thing. After I pushed him that day, I got worried and came back to have a look. And she was there. Dolly was right there. She was crouched down next to him. What? She told me not to ever tell anyone about it, but I'm sorry, Dolly. Your Honor, this is... The defendant is... Miss Fey, you tell them. Dolly didn't do it. She's innocent. So, Dahlia stole poison 8 months ago too, huh? If you put that together with Mr. Wright's testimony, then there's only one possible conclusion. The defendant believes that Miss Dahlia Hawthorne stole some poison on the night before she killed Doug Swallow. The night before? Naturally, her motive for stealing it was to kill someone. Miss Fey, if you're so certain of your theory, then let me ask you this. Mia, this is your last chance. Think carefully now. There's something that she desperately wanted to get back. Therefore, exactly who was Miss Dahlia Hawthorne planning to kill? Who else? There was one person that was standing squarely in Miss Dahlia Hawthorne's way, and that person was Mr. Phoenix Wright. Me? That's preposterous. After all, it was Doc Swallow that was murdered. Well, it's true that that's how things worked out, but let's remember that Mr. Swallow died of electrocution, not poison. The person that Miss Hawthorne was planning to poison was, in fact, you, Phoenix Wright. There's no one else that it could be. But how can that be? I thought Mr. Wright and Miss Hawthorne were in love. Poor Mr. Wright. This must be killing him. Hang in there. I'll bring her to justice. I swear it. As I said before, the only thing Miss Hawthorne truly cared about was the one piece of evidence linking her to the incident 8 months ago. That's right. The bottle necklace. That's all she cared about. But even so, why would she go so far as to murder him? 8 months ago, just after the fall of that attorney in the basement cafeteria, Dahlia Hawthorne could think of only one thing: how to get rid of the bottle necklace as quickly as possible. And boy, was that red hard to even see, even with that background. No, it can't be. It was a pretty good move she made. It was a pretty good move she made too. The evidence was missing for a long time, but there was just one big problem. Although she got him to hide the evidence, Mr. Wright refused to return it to her. To him, the tiny little bottle was a cherished treasure. He even showed it to everyone he met. You mean that's why she tried to kill Mr. Wright? Correct, Your Honor. It was to retrieve that piece of evidence. That can't be true! Feeny, what a joke you are. Honestly, how can a woman ever count on you for anything? I even told you time and time again to keep your trap shut about Mia and that necklace. You disgust me. Miss Hawthorne? It appears that this trial will be coming to an end soon. Fine. I can tell you plan on making me into a criminal, no matter what I say. You are a criminal, Miss Hawthorne. We'll see about that. But first, where's your evidence? It seems your sniveling little crybaby of a client has eaten the bottle as a snack. Well, hey, old man, are you senile or something? Why don't you say something instead of sitting there with that dumb look on your face? Miss Hawthorne, what's happened to you? Are you really that shocked? Or do you prefer me? This way, Mr. Judge? With absolutely no proof, you treat a voluntary witness like she's a mass murderer. Well, I have nothing more to say. I'll be heading home now, if you don't mind. But you're not finished. Fine, then ask this nasty old hag to finish up already. I can't let her get away with this time. Oh, sorry, I can't let her get away this time. Stop, Mia. If you keep on pushing without any evidence, you could pay the ultimate price as a lawyer. The ultimate price? You'd be forced to take off your attorney's badge forever, I'm afraid. No. You'd better think it over carefully, Miss Fey. Or should I say, Miss Gray. They never show the profile pic for Mia. Well, I mean, this does take place 5 years before, so I don't remember her age. I'll put it up on screen when should I remember her age. I'll have to look back at the first Phoenix Wright game. So you better think it over carefully, Miss Fey, or should I say, Miss Gray. Well, Miss Fey, can you provide evidence that would establish her guilt once and for all? If I mess up here, my career as a lawyer is over. But to be honest, at this point, I don't have any evidence that's well-founded. Even so, I'd rather lose my attorney's badge than let her get away with murder. Your Honor, the defense would like to present proof. Impossible! You can't possibly... Sorry, my tisk messed up. Stupid woman. It is the opinion of the court that there has already been enough discussion. Therefore, I will allow only one piece of evidence to be presented. Just one? If you are unable to establish her guilt, then I'm afraid that a very harsh verdict will immediately be handed down on Mr. Wright. I understand, Your Honor. I can just imagine the headlines for tomorrow's newspaper. Up-and-coming lawyer plummets to earth before she gets the chance to soar. She was planning to poison Mr. Wright. If that's the case, then the poison would probably be... If that's the case, then the poison was probably in there. Well then, Miss Fey, please present your evidence. Show to this court irrefutable proof that Miss Hawthorne was planning to poison Mr. Wright. And here it is, the final piece of evidence. Cold Killer Z. Like I said, I'm calling it Z, not X. Here it is, Your Honor. The evidence that will prove her guilt once and for all. Cold Killer Z? Phoenix Wright's beloved cold medicine? Does our rookie defense attorney have a bit of a cold? If I did, I still wouldn't take this cold medicine. After all, it's been poisoned. Oops. Sorry, I hit my headset. What? Remember what the other defendant said in his testimony? But I lost my bottle of it around lunchtime on the day of the accident. I always eat with Dolly, just the two of us. She was the one who took his bottle of Cold Killer Z. Then she poisoned it, knowing that Mr. Wright was going to take some. Now you're really grasping at straws. After all, it was the victim, Doug Swallow, that was holding the medicine. I would like the court to recall the crime that happened here 8 months ago. Where did Miss Hawthorne hide the evidence? Huh? What are you talking about? 8 months ago, the poison was hidden in her bottled necklace, which she then gave to someone else for safekeeping. Someone else had accidentally run into, in the reading room, my client, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Yes, that's right. She did the same thing this time as well. After shoving the victim, Mr. Phoenix Wright left the crime scene. That is when the murderer, Dahlia Hawthorne, appeared. With her, she was carrying the poisoned bottle of Cold Killer Z. Sorry, I can't help it. This, of course, was so she could carry out her plan to murder Mr. Wright. I believe she did testify that she was going to meet with the defendant. Yes, and she heard and saw everything that happened at the scene of the crime, including what the defendant and the victim were arguing about, and the cut electrical cable. That's when she realized, she used the severed cable to silence him forever. Unfortunately for her, this is when the problem occurred. Mr. Wright, who she thought had left the scene, came back to check on the victim. And on top of that, because of the power outage, some students showed up as well. It's hardly any wonder that she was, as she put it, in a state of panic. Recall that she was carrying that bottle of the poison cold medicine, Cold Killer Z. She must have thought, what if they searched me like they did 8 months ago? 8 months ago? Yes, she disposed of the evidence exactly the same way as she did back then. She had someone hold it. In this case, Doug Swallow. Silence. Oh, come now, everyone. Surely you weren't fooled. aren't you? This stupid woman, she's nothing but a filthy, stinking liar. Right, Mr. Prosecutor? Huh? Yes, that's exactly right. It's just pure desperation. I wonder which one of us is the desperate one. So, Miss Hawthorne, this cold medicine, I wonder if you wouldn't mind taking some. Well, Mr. Wright ate that necklace of yours, right? Now it's your turn to prove your innocence. What do you say? If I'm just a filthy, stinking liar, then there's no need to worry. So come on, show us. I dare you to take some of this medicine right now. Mia Fey. Mia Fey. Do you think you've won? Well, do you, Mia Fey? That's just fine. For the time being, victory is yours. For the time being? Well, I have a very long memory, you know. You and I will meet again. I'm certain of it. She's not joking. More on that way later. Well then, Mr. Judge, I'll see you later too, okay? Huh? Why? Yes. I'm going to spend a little quality time with the men in blue now. I wish you all the best. Phew. It's finally over. I refuse to accept this. The defense hasn't shown scrap of evidence to support their outrageous claim. But even so, your witness seems to have accepted it. I don't care. I'm Winston Payne, and I don't believe one word that this rookie lawyer has said. Well then, Mr. Payne, let me ask you this. Yes? Would you care to try this cold medicine? What? Just a little earlier, I could have sworn you said... There, it's all right, rookie. For example, I would trust the witness, Miss Hawthorne, with my very life. So, if she's so trustworthy, then I'm sure there couldn't possibly be any poison in here, right? Well, you see, yes. And here comes the backpedal. Come on now, rookie killer. Show this rookie how it's done. How much trust do you really have for this woman? Are you willing to bet your life? Hair, go away. My hair. And for the record, yes, this is the last time we hear from Winston Payne. That is until we get to Phoenix Wright's Spirit of Justice for the 3DS. But yes, this is the last time we hear from Winston Payne. Mr. Payne? About Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. Yes, Your Honor. I'll file the papers for her immediate arrest. Tragic, but not surprising. I knew there was something suspicious about her from the very beginning. Oh, please. Don't lie. Just admit you were wrong. By the way, Miss Fey. Yes, Your Honor? You said earlier that you and Miss Dahlia Hawthorne knew each other. Your Honor, how we knew each other had nothing to do with this case. Very well. Mr. Payne? This can't be happening. It's a nightmare. It's like losing to my daughter. It appears Mr. Payne has lost his spirit along with his hair. Does the defendant have anything further to say? It can't be true. My dear Dolly, achoo! Very well then. I believe I am ready to pass judgment and bring this trial to an end. The court finds the defendant Phoenix Wright not guilty. Whew. This court is adjourned. Peace out. Ay, ay, ay. That was a long one. And trust me, this is going to be a lot more than that. It's deja vu, just like in Justice for All. The cases are going to be much longer. And fun. Mia, you were wonderful in there. Thank you for everything, Mr. Grossberg. During the verdict, I thought my hemorrhoids were going to explode like Mount Vesuvius. Enough with the hemorrhoids, man. Mr. Grossberg, do you, maybe think you could stop talking about them? Yes, my thoughts exactly. That's rather rude. Well, I mean, we don't mean to be rude. It's just, you're just giving out too much information, man. Ay, ay, ay. Anyway, this case really made me think. What does it really mean to have a relationship of mutual trust with a client? Perhaps it is we veteran lawyers who have lost sight of this. And it's about to get much worse for him. But we have already dealt with that in the first game. Oh, Mr. Wright, congratulations. Thanks. You know, I was thinking. Go on. The dolly that I saw up there on the witness stand, I don't think that was really her. Funny thing is, he's not wrong about that. What? Yeah, the dolly I know could never have done those kinds of terrible things. Maybe she was like, I don't know, a fake or something. Boy, this poor kid still hasn't gotten a clue. In actuality, it's Mia that doesn't have a clue. But we'll get to that much, much later. You need to forget about her, Mr. Wright. For your own sake. Yeah, you're right. It's probably for the best. Also, you need to try to relax a bit more. Try to grow up a little. But out of all my friends, everyone says I'm the most grown up. What kind of company must this guy keep? Right now, I'm studying to become a lawyer myself. That's what you keep saying. But I thought you were in the art department. Well, yeah, I guess I am. But there's a friend that I desperately want to help. And if I hurry, then I should still be able to save him in time. I see. Say, Miss Fey? A lawyer is someone who can help people when they're in trouble, right? Mr. Wright, I'm still new at this myself. But I think that's exactly what a lawyer is. Okay, I'm going to do it. I'll study my butt off. I'll become a lawyer for sure. I hope. I hope we see each other again someday. Maybe even in court. It's been 5 years since I was acquitted of all charges. I became a lawyer like I planned and managed to save my friend. But Mia had passed on to a better place. For me, this trial brings up a lot of painful memories. But it also brings up some very precious ones. And memories that I thought would never rise to the surface again. Mia's gone now, but even so, I can hear her in my mind. I'm coming to get you, Phoenix. Just kidding. Phoenix, no matter what, always believe in your client. In a court of law, your greatest weapon is your belief. 5 long years. Something has happened that's made me think back to her words of wisdom. But that is a story for another day. And that brings an end to episode 1, Turnabout Memories. Oh well, as I said, these cases are going to be much longer. Tune in next time when we go into episode 2, The Stolen Turnabout. So, until then everyone, take care and God bless. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, and share with all your family and friends. If you're enjoying my content, consider subscribing to the channel. And don't forget to click that bell to receive notifications for new videos. Take care, and God bless.